Hello students, so this is the last problem to be discussed in the ratio analysis, almost all the things that we have covered, okay? And if at all in case you have a doubt, you can just clarify the doubts with the faculties, fine? So which has been asked in the year 2010 here. So there is the following are the summarized trading account and profit and loss account and balance sheet of SV Limited for the year ended 31st March 2010. So there is a trading and profit and loss account is given. Along with that, there is also a balance sheet which is given. Apart from the balance sheet, there are certain information to be compute. So what are the information you need to compute? That information is given. So we will go through with the trading. Obviously, you know the trading and profit and loss account includes all the direct as well as the indirect expenses as well as the direct incomes along with the indirect incomes. Okay, so your opening stock cash, see whenever there is a cash purchases and credit purchases as well as the cash sales and the credit sales are separately given, it will be helpful to go ahead with the preparation of debtors turnover ratio. Clear? Sales goes on with the preparation of debtors turnover ratio, cash goes on with preparing the creditors turnover ratio. There is also one more information, general expenses, depreciation, income tax as well as the net profit is given, along with that the gross profit is given. There is a balance sheet, share capital, general reserves, profit and loss account, creditors and the bills payable. Be very particular whenever you compute any kind of proprietors fund. So what does proprietors fund includes? Proprietors fund includes all the share capital along along with the general reserves. So which is nothing but the general reserves, or it may be any surpluses. So that will be included here. So what are the information you need to compute? There is a stock turnover ratio to be computed, debtors turnover ratio, creditors turnover ratio, debt collection period, debtors payment period, debt to payment period, as well as the asset test ratio, gross profit ratio, net profit ratio. Along with that, there is also operating cost ratio to be computed. So be very careful while considering all the informations into considerations. Okay. So now we will go ahead with preparing the stock turnover ratio. First one is preparations of stock turnover ratio. Why I am doing through usage of writing? Because you need to do it along with me. Clear? So which is most important question? Fine. So there is a stock turnover ratio. So what is the formula to compute stock turnover ratio? Cost of goods sold divided by average stock. Remember, whenever there is absence of information of the stock, okay, whenever there is, it may be a opening or it may be a closing stock, whichever the information which is given, so that becomes an average stock. So ಯಾವುದೇ informations ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ ಅದು average stock ಆಗುತ್ತೆ with no informations provided to compute the stock. Clear? So find out, we don't have the cost of goods sold in the question, so we have not found it. So find out the cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold goes on with the formula sales minus gross profit. Correct? So sales is given in the question, so add both the cash sales as well as the credit sales, because it is a total sales minus gross profit. So which is 4,80,000 plus 1,20,000 minus gross profit goes on with 1,80,000. So whatever the value that is going to remain, so that is the cost of goods sold. So now the cost of goods sold around is 4,20,000. Clear? Now it is an average stock. Somehow in the question it is very clear. They have specified with the opening stock. Opening stock along with the closing stock. It is given right in the trading account. So they have given here, there is a opening stock of 1,20,000 and there is a closing stock of 80,000. Both is provided. So take that into consideration. So that is 1,20,000 plus 80,000 divided by 2. So I'll be sharing this pic as well. Okay. Only the question I'll be sharing. The answer you have to do it by looking into the video. So which comes to around 2 lakhs divided by 2 is 1 lakh. So this is the average stock that you have computed. You have computed with the cost of goods sold. You have computed with the average stock. Now it is very easy to go ahead with the stock turnover ratio. So which is 4,20,000 divided by 1 lakhs. So which comes to around 4.2 times. Clear? So cost of goods sold, and be very particular in computing the cost of goods sold here along with the sales, along with the gross profit. So these three are most important. Clear? And now they have also asked you to prepare the debtors turnover ratio. Remember, whenever there is a debtors turnover ratio is asked, it going to consider the credit sales will be divided with the average debtors. Sometimes average debtors will be given, sometimes average debtors will be not given. So at that time you can also consider the bills receivables informations. Okay, so instead of debtors, the bills receivables will also can be considered. Suppose both the information is given, you can add back. This kind of problem also we have solved in the previous videos. Okay, so very particular, they have given credit sales 4,80,000, and there is also average debtors. So average debtors, as there is no information as it is a debtors opening and the closing debtors, so whatever the value you get, so 4,80,000 divided by 1,60,000 goes on with 3 times. Clear? So now debtors turnover ratio is done. You can go ahead with preparing the creditors turnover ratio. So creditors turnover ratio considers the credit purchases with, which is going to consider the average creditors. So what is credit purchases? So listen, whenever there is an average creditors is given, and in the question there is creditors as well as the bills payable. Okay, so whenever there is creditors and the bills payable, consider these both information for the average creditors. So average creditors includes creditors plus bills payable. So what is credit purchases? Credit purchases is 3,20,000. So 3,20,000 divided by what is average creditors? So average creditors includes creditors plus bills payable. So which is 3,20,000 divided by 1 lakh. So which is 3.2 times. Clear? So average creditors. So whenever there is an absence of information of opening and the closing, you can take the opening as well as the creditors. In the case of debtors also, you can consider the debtors information plus bills receivables. Most important. Highlight this point. It is very much important. Some of the students will make up mistakes by not considering the bills receivables and the bills payable. It is compulsory to take into considerations. Clear? So now you are asked to prepare the debt collection period. Okay, so there is a debt collection period is asked, as well as the debt payment period is asked to compute. So debt collection period goes on with the formula debtors divided by credit sales into number of months, or this can also be indicated in a year, that is a day, that is 365 or 360. Sometimes in the question number of days will be specified to compute the debt collections period. Okay, that kind of problem also we have solved. So what is debtors here? So debtors in the question is given as 1,60,000. Clear? And there is also credit sales which you have which is given in the trading account, so which is 12. So which comes to around 1,60,000 divided by 4,80,000 into 12, which is almost 3.9 months, as we are indicating in a 12. So it is months, so which is indicated as 4 months. So which is 4 months. Okay, So now this can also be indicated in a days. So how to indicate in a days? Data is given as 1,60,000 divided by 4,80,000 into 365. So 1,60,000 divided by into 365. So it is 121.67 days. This can also be represented, either this can also be represented. Okay, this is number of days is preferable only when in the question the days are specified. Okay, until unless the date is not specified, you can just multiply with the number of months. Clear? So now there is one more information to compute is debt payment period. So payment goes on with the information of creditors. So same way compute the debt payment period. So that is creditors divided by. So here there is not only the creditors, there is also bills payable. So creditors plus bills payable divided by credit purchases into 12. Okay. So what is the creditor is here? It is 80,000 plus 20,000 divided by 3,20,000 into 12. So 80,000 plus 20,000 divided by 3,20,000 is 0.3125 multiply with the 12 into 12. 0.3125 into 12 is 3.75 months. So which can also be indicated as 4 months, or else you can also leave it as it is. Clear? Now there is one more to be computed, that is current ratio. So you all have computed from the beginning of the ratio analysis the same. So what is current ratio? Current ratio considers the current assets with the current liability. So here it is very particular. They have given directly the current creditor. So it is current assets 4 lakhs divided by 1 lakh, which is indicated as 4 is to 1. Clear? Current ratio is done. Now there is one more to be computed, that is acid test ratio. So acid is also nothing but the quick ratio. So one more information, in the case of quick ratio which is equals to quick assets is to quick liabilities. It is a acid test. Okay, so quick assets is equals to, how do you compute the quick assets? It is going to consider all the current assets except the stock. So there is 3,20,000 minus 1 lakh is the stock. So which comes to around 2,20,000 is to 2,20,000. So which will be here, that is 2.2, that is you can also divide this with 1 lakhs. Okay, so which gives you 2.2 is to 1 quick ratio, ideal ratio you can specify to this. And there is a gross profit ratio. Gross profit ratio we have also discussed, that is gross profit divided by sales into 100. So what is gross profit? It is 1,80,000 divided by 3,20,000 into 100, which comes to around 30%. This is very clear. The gross profit is given in the question, the sales is also given in the question. Next is net profit ratio. So net profit also is given directly, that is net profit divided by sales into 100. So that is 90,000 divided by 6 lakhs into 100, which goes on with 15%. Next is operating cost ratio. Be very particular in the case of operating cost. I told you what is operating cost. Operating cost considers all the cost which is going to happen regularly. which is not occurring either in a month, either in a year. So which is going to happen regularly. So that is, the formula goes on with operating cost divided by sales into 100. So what is operating cost? Operating cost considers cost of goods sold plus, in the question they have specified the general expenses. Suppose if there is no general expenses, also some administrative expenses along with that, the depreciation. So which is going to occur regularly. So what is cost of goods sold? So cost of goods sold is given as 4,80,000 plus, so it is 4,20,000 plus general expenses is 40,000 plus 20,000, which is equal to 4,80,000 is the operating cost. Now 4,80,000 divided by 6 lakhs into 100. So 4,80,000 divided by 6 lakh into 100, which goes on with 80 percentage. So bits of informations will be given, and we have also covered almost all the things in the questions. Okay, so I'll be sharing the question paper problem and the solved solution as well, so you can also go through that. If any queries, you can let me know. Okay, this question I'll be sharing to you people. Thank you.